live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Saile, and today we are approaching the halfway point of the NFL season. Almost, no, 3/4 of the way through college football already, if you count the regular season only. Week 9 college football, Week 8 NFL, so 3/4 of the way through college football, regular season-wise. Halfway almost through the NFL season. It's flying by, man. But we are ready to get back and roll once again with NFL Week 8 picks, college football picks for the weekend. Not really much I like, so that one's going to be really short. And yes, Survivor picks once again. Very tough week, in my opinion, with what I've picked so far. And I'll recap the picks as I go through. And that might be a moment where I have Jeopardy music in my head playing because it's been 7 opponents and I'm trying to remember week by week. But let's start off with college football first because honestly, guys, I don't like a lot this week. And there's only a few games that like jump out that I'm like, okay, I would pick. And I'm honestly just going to pick the big games now because I don't know, I don't really like a lot. So I'm just setting up actually for the next topic on my screen right here. But let me go into college football first because I have really a few plays I like, 3 games I'm going to pick, which is involving some plays that I have. So let's start off with the first game, which is going to be Ole Miss at Oklahoma. Ole Miss just lost to Georgia. I knew they were at home on the road to somebody, and I'm thinking the last time they had a big game. Ole Miss travels to Oklahoma after a loss at Georgia. Oklahoma suffered a loss against Texas. So, injured John Mateer against Ole Miss, who just suffered their first loss. Now, I know Oklahoma probably beat South Carolina. And actually, that's who they played last. So, my mistake. I'm rusty today. But I'm going to fight through it. I know Oklahoma beat South Carolina on the road. And I liked South Carolina and I lost. I know. But I'm not sold on Oklahoma yet. I think Ole Miss can bounce back after a loss like this against Georgia. I think they'll get right. It'll be tough. I like Ole Miss getting the 5.5. Now, I don't know why Oklahoma's favored by that much. I think they're expecting Mateer to score and that he's healthy. I'm not convinced that way. And I think that, if I'm being honest, I think Ole Miss should bounce back. And I trust Lane Kiffin and company over Brent Venables to get a win. I think Oklahoma's a little overrated so far. I know they beat Michigan and I know they beat Auburn. They got beat pretty handily by Texas. Granted, John Mateer was banged up, but I like Ole Miss to get right. Beat LSU early in the year. Georgia, they had that game. They just blew it. And Lane Kiffin, you got to win these types of games where you lose, you got to bounce back. And this is my thing with him as we get into November very soon. You have to close games out, especially in the playoff where you can't afford more than one loss. And especially since you're being linked to the Florida job right now, I think every game's going to be critical for him. And Ole Miss, I like Ole Miss getting the 5.5, and they will beat Oklahoma. If I had to predict the score, is it crazy to say 28-20 Ole Miss over Oklahoma? I'm going to say that's the score. I like Ole Miss getting the 5.5. That's the first play I like. The second play I like is Missouri-Vandy. I like the over in this game. I think both Missouri and Vanderbilt will score. I'm getting the total. I want to make sure my eyes are reading this right. 51.5. I like the over. I think both Missouri and Vandy will score. Vandy scored against Bama, played really well, scored against LSU. And I look at that and I'm like, okay, Missouri hung 24 on Bama. So both teams could score. Why not? I like the over. I think it's a good play. Give me the over in Mizzou and Vandy. Now, to win this game, this is tough because, see, Vandy beat LSU last week. Can they get up for Missouri? Missouri's coming off a loss to Alabama. But when they played good teams, they haven't done well. Vandy played Bama tough, and they beat LSU. And I know they beat another big team, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't know if it was Texas. It might have been. And I'm going to look it up after I'm done recording. But I'm going to leave Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia is playing pretty damn well. I'm going with the Vanderbilt Commodores to win 30-27. Vandy beats Mizzou. This is I actually think this might be my favorite play of the weekend. If there's going to be an upset today, actually no, they didn't lose to Texas because Texas lost to Florida. So I know Vandy beat somebody big. I don't remember who it was. Either way, it wasn't Texas because I just remembered Texas lost to Ohio State and Florida now. So it wasn't Texas. I was wrong. I apologize. My favorite play of the weekend, it involves Texas. I like Mississippi State once again getting the points at home. Give me the 7.5. They just played Florida tough. Jeff Lebby, they went for it. They didn't get it. And I know Mississippi State fans were not happy about it. Brandon Walker, Barstool guy, Mississippi State fan, he backed up Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State. I like them once again getting the points. Did you see Texas's offensive line against Kentucky? How awful they were? And that was in Kentucky. Mind you, Mississippi State is improving. Can they rush the passer on Arch Manning? That's what I want to know if they can do. And I like Mississippi State's material. I think they're showing much improvement under Lebby. They're not improving like 8-win territory, but I think Texas is walking on eggshells once again. I do not like them against Mississippi State. Arch Manning's been struggling. That offensive line's horrible. Mississippi State Cowbells, Bulldogs, that's the name. Mississippi State Bulldogs get the 7.5. I like it a lot. I might even think, you know what? I think Mississippi State upsets Texas. I'm going bold. I think Mississippi State wins 23-16. Texas is struggling mightily. I love Mississippi State. Give me the 7.5 and Mississippi State to win outright, I think. They win. Now, LSU at Texas A&M. Or no, Texas A&M at LSU. I'm making mistakes, guys. I'm sorry. LSU is favored by 2.5. And let me make sure I'm right on this because I know you guys are like, Rich, get your shit together. I know. And I'm going to get it right now. So let me make sure if I'm right on this. And I'm pretty confident I'm right. So let me make sure. Yep, it's at LSU. I was right the first time. So LSU's getting 2.5 points at home. Over and under's at 48.5. I am not touching the over and under in this game. I'm not. I like LSU, weirdly. I don't love it. I like it because I feel like A&M, their quarterback situation, Marcel Reed, he's young. He's got upside. But I got this feeling A&M's going to lose a game soon. And it might be this week. LSU, I don't know what's happened since the Ole Miss game, and even before that, offensively, they're struggling. And considering that Brian Kelly's on the way out, I could see why people might still take A&M. I'm going to take LSU because I feel like they have to get right, and this would be a big win for Brian Kelly to help boost their playoff chances at 2 losses. Plus, LSU has Bama coming up. They cannot afford to lose another game. So I'm going to take LSU, close one. And they've both been struggling. So I feel like – 24-21 LSU over A&M. I think that's the score Garrett Nussmeier and company, they get right. And I like LSU money line. I think LSU should win, get a big win before Alabama, and then that's where the season's on the line for them. And LSU, please get your shit together because if you can't, Brian Kelly is definitely gone at the end of the year. And honestly, the fans have turned against him. It feels like they don't like him. So not good things over there in LSU. But I'm going to take LSU to win because I feel like this is a good bounce back spot. And then we go from there. And then Alabama. I'm not an LSU fan, by the way. I'm just saying I like them. Trying to find my college football team, although I have one I like right now, but they have a chance to still make it. Anyway, Vikings, Chargers. Let's go into the NFL. This game tonight, Chargers have lost 3 of 4 recently, and then Minnesota lost to the Eagles, but Carson Wentz, they've been all right. So, again, I feel like this is a tough game to pick. I watched the Chargers for about a half against the Colts last Sunday, and they didn't look too great. And then I look at the Vikings. Brian Flores blitzing Justin Herbert with both tackles out. Oh, man. And they're banged up on the O-line. I don't like that. And they can't run the ball, which is a bad sign. Think about this. The Chargers could have lost 4 straight games if they did not have a Ladd McConkey miracle play against Miami. The Vikings have not been a bad team. They just are too inconsistent and too untrustworthy. I did see this stat, though, and I sent this to my friend that's a Vikings fan, and I'm going to try to get him on Lounge Time. He's one of the guys I'm trying to get on for Lounge Time. Carson Wentz, 7-0 straight up on Thursday nights. If one thing serves correct, if you see a team struggling and then you see a potential glaring hole in the game, I'm leaning the other way. I think, again, and if you notice too, Thursday nights, think about this for a second. The Bengals upset the Steelers. The Giants upset the Eagles. So we've had back-to-back Thursday night football upsets. And it's the Chargers at home. They're favored. So what does this tell me? 3 straight upsets on Thursday Night Football. I'm taking the Vikings. And you guys are like, Rich, really? You're going to trust them? Yes. Because I think Brian Flores is going to take advantage of the fact that the Chargers have 2 offensive tackles banged up and have missed significant time. I look at Herbert. He's made a lot of dumb interceptions lately in the red zone. Commanders and the Colts, I've watched both games. They can't run the ball. I think Carson Wentz, as long as he doesn't fuck the game up, the Vikings can win this game. I like the Vikings to win 27-23. Give me the 3.5 of the Vikings. And I lean the over. I don't love it, but I lean the over. I like the Vikings to win tonight. Pull off an upset. Thursday Night Football equals upset specials. I like the Vikings, and everybody can get off my back if Rich doesn't take upsets. And I have the card from last week if you don't believe me that I don't take upsets. Just depends now which ones I get right. Bills taking on the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. The Bills are 7-point favorites. Bryce Young is out with an ankle. I think it's a mild ankle. I don't know if it's a mild ankle sprain. I know it's an ankle injury, and he's out. That has been confirmed since early in the week. Over and unders at 46.5. I was so close to taking Carolina. So close. But then I found out Andy Dalton starting. And then I went back and I was like, well, the Bills off a bye week, they have to win, but they usually take opponents like this very lightly, which I go, red flag. Mind you, I'm going to say this. I didn't take I don't like the Bills for Survivor. You're going to find out why in a moment. Because guess who Buffalo plays after Carolina? The Chiefs. This could be a trap game for Buffalo off the bye week. And they don't do well with this kind of game. And the defense for Buffalo has been bad lately. But Carolina's without Bryce. If Bryce was playing, I would love the Panthers +7. Oh, well, obviously it would be a different point spread. I would love the Panthers to play close. With Andy Dalton, no, not so much. I like Buffalo to win. I think they'll get back on track. They need this because they know what next week's game means for them and their season, especially with Kansas City coming up, Josh Allen, Mahomes. I'd lean the Panthers with 7. Lean it. I would have really loved it if Bryce Young played, but he's not. Lean the 7 with Carolina. I don't love it. I'm leaning the 7. Potential trap game too. But I like the Bills to win 30-17. I have it at the over, but I'm not loving the over in this game. So I would not play the over. I'm saying Bills win 30-17. So just gets the over in what Vegas has at 46.5. Bills win 30-17. I think the Bills get their win after the bye week, and get ready to play Kansas City in a marquee next Sunday showdown in Buffalo, by the way. Giants travel to Philly to take on the Eagles, where the Eagles are 7.5-point favorites. The over and under is listed at 43.5. Giants, bad loss at Denver. Historical collapse. My question is, how do they get up for this game after blowing a game that I think would have changed the turn of their season for a better way? We would be looking at the Giants much differently had they not blown that game against Denver. And I would be like, shit, I don't know if I want to take the Eagles for Survivor. I still am not sure. And I'll factor in my reasons when we get there. I think the Eagles will win. They look like they got some momentum after their mini bye against the Vikings. Can they beat the Giants? Jalen Carter is the key. If he don't play, I fear it's going to be not the same thing as it was a few weeks ago, but I fear it's going to be closer than the Eagles expect it to be. And the Eagles, you cannot afford to get swept by the Giants. You cannot. Philly media will eat you up for 2 weeks. And especially, guess who you got after the bye week? You got to go play Green Bay. And Green Bay don't look good really much either. You got to get right. You got to get right. You got to win and assert your dominance against the Giants. No BS. Eagles should win. I got them 26-17, and I think the Eagles cover. I think it'll be, wow, I have it just under 43.5. Could play the over if you want. Could play. I don't love the over in this game. 26-17. Eagles over the Giants. And funny, right under the over and under 43. I have in my numbers, 43.5 is what Vegas has. So, got it under. 26-17. Eagles over the Giants. That's how close my picks are so accurate. Jets travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals are 6.5-point favorites. The over and under is at 44.5. I want to take the over so bad because I know the Jets suck. I will say this. This line smells. Bengals have a mini bye. Jets look awful against Carolina. Aaron Glenn, they're playing okay. This is a game, watch, the Jets will win and I don't fucking pick them. But Joe Flacco, they finally got a win. They're kind of like, all right, maybe we can get Joe Burrow back. Maybe sneak into that 7th spot in the playoff race. Just try to hold the ship down and get them going. I think the Bengals win, though, because I don't know how the Jets are going to cover Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. The only hope the Jets have is pressure Joe Flacco, but I feel like the Jets, not that they're quitting on Aaron Glenn, but they are not looking good. So I like the Bengals to win 24-13. Jets offense is atrocious. So is the Bengals defense. But Joe Flacco, he'll make enough plays against the Jets defense. Chase, kind of like anytime touchdown against Sauce Gardner. And I think Bengals go back to 500, 24-13. Bengals beat the Jets. The Miami Dolphins travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, where Atlanta is a 7.5-point favorite. Over and unders at 44.5. Okay. The only play I love confidently is Bijan over in rushing. Dolphins can't stop a fucking runaway bull on the running game. They can't stop the run. You let fucking Vidal go off, Judkins go off, Jonathan Taylor went off against them week 1. Hell, even Ramondre had an okay game against them. Miami cannot stop the run. Bijan should go off. I need Bijan to fucking have a better game than he had against Buffalo when I still lost because other people have not contributed well. But I'm going to get to them later. Bijan's been my ace. This should be, I would slam the over in rushing yards for Bijan Robinson. That would be one of my favorite plays for NFL. That's me. Plus, Miami has Darren Waller on injured reserve. Tyreek's out for the year. Tua calling out leadership. McDaniel fucking throwing Tua under the bus. They benched Tua for Quinn Ewers, and Miami low-key might be quitting on fucking Mike McDaniel. And they got trade deadline people, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. They have Jalen Waddle in talks. Seattle, I said last week, with Devon Achane they want to trade for. It's dumpster fire in Miami. I would love Atlanta. I'm going to tell you why. I'm not sure later. I'm going to get to that in Survivor. Hint for what could be. I like Atlanta to win. And I had this right at the under also at 44.5. I have it 31-13. I'm tempted to make it 38-13, 34-13. I would take the over in this game. I think Atlanta, if they dominate Miami on the offensive line, which Atlanta has a sneaky good offensive line, if they dominate Miami on the ground game, this could be blowout city. It just depends if Bijan Robinson has a crazy legacy game. And honestly, I think Atlanta, I need to know what Michael Penix is going to be healthy. That's the only reason right now I'm hesitant picking this as a blowout. If Penix don't play, I would be scared. So if you're betting Miami, wait to see if Penix plays or not. If he doesn't play, get the 7.5 early. If he does play, I don't know how healthy he's going to be. I expect Atlanta to win 34-13. I'm going over, actually. I had 31-13 Atlanta. I'm going 34-13. If Penix does not play, obviously the score changes. But I think Bijan Robinson is too much for Miami in the running game. Miami sucks on offense too. Atlanta's defense is not terrible, but they're not great. And I think even an average defense is making Miami look like crap. And with Waller and Tyreek out, I said Waller and Tyreek, yes. Don't like it. Atlanta just has to stop the zone run scheme from McDaniel. So stop Achane and then Waddle. AJ Terrell's probably going to take him. I like Atlanta to win the game. And I would have said my favorite play, but I need to know if Penix is playing. Give me Atlanta to win. The Cleveland Browns travel to Foxborough and Gillette Stadium to take on the New England Patriots. New England is 7-point favorites. Over and under is listed at 40.5. I want to say over so bad. I honestly, fuck it. I'm going to lean the over. I think New England could score in Cleveland. My worry is with this game, can New England's offensive line block Cleveland's defensive line with Mason Graham and Myles Garrett? Because that D-line is scary. I am scared of this matchup. Will Campbell, a rookie against Myles Garrett, little scared. But he's been holding his own so far. He did good against Joey Bosa. He did good against, I forgot who it was. I wouldn't say, was it Cam Jordan maybe? I just know he's been doing okay. This is his first big test, and I'm like, if he could handle Myles Garrett, I would feel comfortable. I think Drake May, New England's number 2 in passing attack this season. I think that they are going to throw on Cleveland. It's going to be hard because their running game hasn't been quite what it used to be. I think, though, May's playing good. It's going to be slow early. I expect Cleveland to hang around, and then New England, I think, says, you know what, kid, we're going to let you let it rip. He's going to make some throws to win. I've got New England 27-16 on the Browns. I think this is going to be just over. I like New England to cover and take the over. I like the Patriots to win 27-16 on the Browns. I don't know how the Browns are going to score on offense because that New England defense is very good against the run. Key matchup, can they stop Judkins? I think they can. And I think that, again, it's going to be interesting to see who the Browns trust in this matchup against the Patriots because New England's defense is known for starting off slow. I think New England, as the game will continue on, Vrabel knows Cleveland too, and assisted with them last year. I think that's going to bode well for them and serve as an advantage. Give me the Patriots. Bears travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 6.5. Over and unders listed at 49.5. So I did see 7. And now it's betting down to 6.5. So money is slowly coming on the Bears. And I'm going to be honest with you. Are we that certain the Ravens are just going to be fixed overnight after a bye week? With Lamar, his first game back, and that defense who couldn't stop C.J. Stroud? I don't know about that. I know the Bears have been playing really good ball. I'd lean to 6.5 with the Bears. I am not sold on the Ravens. I know they hung tough with the Rams, and I know I said I don't love it. I'm going to take the Bears to win because I don't know how they're going to handle Caleb. I mean, they're going to force Caleb Williams to throw it. They are going to force Caleb Williams to throw it. And he's going to have to throw the ball. Romadunze. Can you put up more than single fucking digit points, man? I mean, goddamn. I mean, Caleb Williams, I know he's to blame for some things. I know they have some fucking botched snaps that happens once a game. If you can't put up more than single-digit fantasy points, that's bad for me. And I know I'm probably going to be out of my playoff league, which sucks because I know my team isn't bad on paper. But God damn it, you got to play better than what you are. I like the Bears with the 6.5, and I like them to win by a field goal, 27-24 on the Ravens. Give me the Bears to beat the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. I don't think the Ravens' defense is that solved yet, and I think that Caleb Williams, if they can find a way to protect the ball, they can win this game, and I like the Bears. The 49ers travel to Houston to take on the Texans, where the Texans are 1.5-point favorites. I was going to say the Niners are getting 1.5 at Houston, but the Texans are 1.5 favorite against the Niners. Over and unders at 41.5. The Texans struggled at Seattle, short week. They had to travel back to Houston. The Niners got to travel halfway to play the Texans. But have you seen the Texans O-line? What makes me confident in them to beat the Niners? Oh, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner are out. I know, but they still got players. Mykal Williams is not a bad pass rusher. The Niners have players that can rush the passer. That's one thing John Lynch prides his team on, is being deep in the defensive line and getting after the passer. And I think C.J. Stroud, not that it's not a game he shouldn't do well. Saile's doing an excellent job with the defense. He really has, despite 2 injuries to his best 2 players on defense. And I think that D'Amico, the only thing he knows is that defense for a few years, being the defensive coordinator for Shanahan for a few seasons, which is going to serve as an advantage for him, so he knows the defensive personnel a little bit. But I don't know how the Texans protect Stroud. I don't know. I think Saile's a really good defensive coordinator. Saile's given Stroud a little bit of fits recently. I like the Niners getting the 1.5. I like the money line on the Niners. I think that Mac Jones or Brock Purdy, they'll be fine. CMC should do solid. My question is, can they throw against Houston? That's what I'm not sure about. But I think the Niners, I'll tell you right now, take the under. Both teams are going to have trouble scoring. And I think that 41.5, I know it's a little low. I would take the under. 17-13 Niners at Houston. They win. I trust Shanahan more than I do the Texans, because how are they going to block for C.J. Stroud? I don't know. I don't think they're going to do it well. Tampa travels to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Bucs are 4.5-point favorites. Over and unders at 46.5. Mike Evans missing most of the season. That's a bad injury. I hope he's good. That streak of 1,000 yards is at an end. That sucks, because that dude was he's one of those players I really root for, because he's consistent. He blocks. He doesn't care about stats. That's one that, it sucks, man. But Godwin's so banged up. Bucs have to get right. That was a terrible showing on the offensive line. The Saints, though, it's weird because, in Saints, they usually don't do well there, right? But the Saints, they've been okay. They've got some players that they got teams interested in. So I don't know if that's going to be something that plays a factor in this game. I like Tampa, though, to get right. I think that Baker Mayfield and the company will get right. Tez Johnson, please do good against the Saints. I picked you up in fantasy. I cannot afford to be 1-7. I don't want to mail my team in. I don't want to do that. I'm not fucking quitting on fantasy. No way. But I got to get a win. Tez Johnson, I like your receiving yards to go over a little bit. Maybe anytime touchdown, maybe. But I like Tampa to win 34-13. They beat the Saints. They get right. Tampa, short week. They do go to New Orleans. I think they'll get right. Bucs beat the Saints. Titans traveled to Indianapolis to take on the Colts, where the Colts are 14-point favorites. The over and under is listed at 47.5. Oh my God. The only reason I'm leaning over is because how in the world are the Titans going to stop this Colts offense? I watched a half and I was like, they are going to be problematic. If they can run the ball with Jonathan Taylor, and they got Warren, and they got Pittman, and DJ being efficient, not turning it over, and being good with his arm and his legs and his accuracy, oh boy. Give me the Colts, and this is a wild score. and I wrote it down. I got 45-14 Colts. This is blowout city. Handle them convincingly. Cam Ward, they'll score a little bit, garbage time points. Colts handle them. 45-14. They put up 41 in Tennessee. Colts established their dominance in the AFC. They handle them. Big game, though, next week at Pittsburgh for the Colts, and they need to look good. So I like them 45-14 over the Titans. And I like the over in this game because I think the Colts are just going to score close to it, and I like it. Cowboys travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Broncos are 3.5-point favorites. Over and unders at 50.5. I want to say confidently the over. Here's why I'm skeptical. Dallas never really wins in Denver lately. They don't win in Denver, really. 2009, I remember they lost 17-10. Josh McDaniels' rookie season as a head coach for Denver. I remember they lost in Denver 2017, where that was the Des Bryant game and Zeke sucked. So, yeah, Zeke sucked in that game. That's when he, folded his arms and pounded on the sideline. That was Denver handling them that year. So, yes, 2017 they lost in Denver. And now, Denver really has owned the Cowboys for the last, and we're on 25. So we're looking almost 20 years. Don't tell me Dallas's offense is going to be the problem. No, their defense is going to be the problem. Bo Nix, when he's streaky, he's streaky. And Denver's defense has not lived up to the calling card lately, last couple of weeks, and I don't know why, but I feel like Dallas will score. I don't love the over because I feel like Denver's defense, watch them have a game where they just be like, you know what? Enough of us being slackish. They'll get to Prescott, but the running game for Dallas is the X factor. If they can run the ball with Javonte Williams, which Denver will make it tough, that's going to be the key. If they can slow down Denver's pass rush with the running game, Dallas has a shot to pull an upset. But I like Denver 31-27 on the Cowboys. I don't love the over because I have a feeling Denver is either going to clamp Prescott and Lamb, but then they got Pickens. They got two really good corners, Riley Moss, Surtain. If they can clamp up those two receivers, I could see this being an under. I don't love the over and under so much, but I'm going to take 31-27 Broncos, beat the Cowboys, and they can move to 6-2. The Packers travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, where the Packers are 3-point favorites at Pittsburgh. Over and under is listed at 45.5. Aaron Rodgers plays his old team, the Pack. I'm sorry, I do not trust the Steelers in this game at all. I do not. I think that Aaron Rodgers will play motivated. He wants to get back at his old team. It'd be funny that if he were to beat all 32 teams against the Pack and they beat them. And I'm going to be honest, Green Bay has not looked great the last two games. Arizona, Cincinnati. I would even say Dallas and the Browns haven't looked great. They haven't looked great for 4 games. But that Steelers defense, mini bye, they should play better. They have not looked great. I think Matthew Golden, please go off, should handle business. I like the Pack 30-20. I think they'll get Jacobs going. I think Matthew Golden, if he has a big play or two, that would be awesome. Maybe a long touchdown, please. I like the Packers to win this game 30-20. I think they're going to have a good way on offense. I think Micah Parsons, building off his 3-sack game against the Cardinals, is going to give the Steelers O-line some trouble. And I think that Rodgers will know where Parsons is. He's great of a quarterback to know that. But I just think the Packers defensively should get right. The Steelers offense, O-line shaky. Their running game is And then they have DK Metcalf. But then their tight ends. I mean, again, their offense is just Like, they'll score, but they won't score much. 30-20. Packers beat the Steelers. Over and unders at 45.5. I don't love the total in this game. Staying away from it. Pack will win, though. Packers win. 3rd straight game. It might be ugly, but they'll win. The Commanders travel to Kansas City on Monday night to take on the Chiefs, where the Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites. Over and unders listed at 47.5. Good thing the NBA is back on. Because I don't want to watch this game. Because I have to then hear the media glaze about Mahomes and Kelsey. And I already know that Chiefs fans are already gassing their team up. And I'm like, you beat the Raiders. You beat the Giants and you beat the Ravens. 3 bad teams. And you're beating Washington, who has a shit defense and is Marcus Mariota. Did you see Mariota last week against a horrible Dallas defense? Imagine what Spags is going to do. Blowout City, I'm not even watching this game. 38-10, Chiefs handle the Commanders. How do they even slow down Mahomes is the question. How? The only reason I would say this game will be closer than people think, Chiefs looking ahead of Buffalo. In Buffalo. That's the only reason. It won't matter. Because they're going to kill Washington. Their secondary trash. Jaden Daniels is out. McLaurin's out. Debo's. They have injuries all over the place. Chiefs steamroll the Commanders 38-10. Now, let's get to Survivor. If you didn't take the Chiefs, I don't blame you this week. I took them last week, so I can't take the Chiefs. I wanted to take Denver. I don't love Denver this week, though. If that defense was playing better, I would say yes. I would take a chance at Denver, but I don't love it this week. There's a better game I like for them. If you did not take the Colts, they would be my number one choice against the Titans. They would. I took the Colts, so I can't use them. So Colts would be number one for me personally this week. I did not take them, so I can't pick them. Bucks would be top 3 to 5, non-biasedly, against the Saints. I think that the Bucks should win. I have New England 2, actually, against the Browns. I feel like if you want to take the Patriots, it's a good spot. Although I feel like because most people took New England either for Carolina or at Titans with Mike Vrabel, I feel like even at Saints, some people probably took them. I would probably have New England lower because I feel like, again, you have a better opportunity to get them if you want. But if you want to take them, I don't blame you. I have them lower because I took them 1 and 2. There's other games probably people have taken them for. So I think New England is a little bit late back half. So I wouldn't put New England 2, actually. I'll tell you who I'm thinking number 2 might be. All right? And I might have to... I'm tossed up between 2 teams. I can't trust Buffalo this week. I can't. I would put them in my B to C tier. I don't trust Buffalo with the bad teams. Historically, I'm going to say Buffalo, stay away from. So, and the Bengals, see, I would have guts to do this. I just don't like this game because this smells. If you want to take a chance at the Bengals, I don't blame you. I would say to you, though, don't do it. But if you want to take the Bengals, I wouldn't blame you. It is probably their winnable game left. I don't love it. I'm going to say stay away from the Bengals. If you want to take them, that's your choice. I would not. Here's the 2 I'm leaning. And I have questions with both. I'm tossed up between the Eagles and the Falcons. Now, you're probably like, Rich, why would you trust the Falcons? They blew you out of one pool. I know. But hear me out for a minute. Miami is literally quitting on Mike McDaniel before our very eyes. They're quitting on Mike McDaniel. Tua's playing awful, and he's throwing leadership under the bus. McDaniel's throwing Tua under the bus. It's a dumpster fire. Trade candidates galore over there. Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Waddle. Seahawks want to trade for Achane. Dumpster fire. Okay? Atlanta, the only reason I don't have them higher is because Penix is banged up. And I'm like, I don't know if I could trust the Falcons without Penix to beat Miami. I mean, Bijan should go off. But it is sort of my confident play. But they knocked me out of one pool, so I'm like, I don't know. Plus, Atlanta's got some games down the road that I'm like, they can win those games. Then here's my other pick. I'm leaning the Eagles. Because the Eagles, they can't get swept by the Giants. They just can't. I know they haven't looked good on offense, but they have to beat the Giants, right? They have to. Saquon, bro, you let Cam Scatterbo take over New York a couple weeks ago, and they have not looked good running the ball, but the Giants came off a colossal colossal breakdown, giving up 33 and a quarter to the Giants and to the Broncos, and now you got to go travel back cross country to get up for a division rival that is upset beyond the metric that they lost to you. but they haven't looked good offensively, and I'm like worried that if I pick the Eagles, they're going to fucking lose. But again, the Eagles have one game I like the rest of the way that I'm like, oh, that's for sure a confident win. And that's down the road in December when they play the Raiders. So the dilemma for me is, well, Atlanta has a lot more games coming up that I'm like, yeah, they can win these games. The Eagles, they're a better team than Atlanta is, but they're playing a division rival that just got absolutely collapsed against Denver. So, Rich, who's your pick? Right now, I'd lean the Eagles. Just because I don't think that they can lose to the Giants twice. I don't think they will. I think they should handle business. However, I am going to monitor these two teams as a game time call. I need to see if Penix is going to be all right. I expect Atlanta to steamroll Miami. That's kind of where my confident pick is saying. But the Eagles have to beat the Giants. If the Eagles can't beat the Giants, that's a problem. I'm leaning the Eagles because I feel like there's not many better games I feel like I can get them at than right now. Lean the Eagles, but I'm keeping an eye on Atlanta. Because Waller's out, Tyreek's done for the year. That also plays a role. When there's smoke, there's fire, they say, that's why I want to take Atlanta, but I'm like, there's no better spot for the Eagles than right now to win. So, kind of lean the Eagles right now. So, that is my pick for Survivor this week. Eagles, Falcons are my top two choices for my pool that I'm doing. Now, my top choice, non-biasedly, would be the Colts if you have not taken them. If you have taken them, then I'm going to go in order now. I would then decide between the Eagles. I would decide between Atlanta, but monitor the injury report for Atlanta with Penix. That's what I would say to you. Cincy, don't roll the dice on. Tampa would be 2 actually against the Saints if you did not take Tampa. So Colts, Tampa, Chiefs. If you didn't take the Chiefs, I would probably put them higher if I didn't take them last week, but I did. Those would be my top 3, and then I'd have the Eagles and Atlanta right there too. So that's me. That's my picks. And then you have a couple of floaters that if you want to take a flyer on, I wouldn't. But those would be my choices. Colts, Tampa, Chiefs would be my top 3 if I had not already taken them. I did, though. Eagles, Falcons, if you have not taken them, which I haven't, are going to be my top 2 choices. And then I'm monitoring injury reports. So that is my Survivor picks for this Sunday's action in the NFL. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that way you guys get all the latest content for the NFL season. We're halfway. Trade deadline heating up. We are going to be talking about the trade deadline. It will be on the 4th after the deadline because that's what I'm going to do. And I'm probably leaning not doing a show on Monday because I want to just strictly talk about the trade deadline. I might have a guest in studio. I'm going to try to talk to some people, see who wants to come on and talk. Maybe update my hierarchy in the AFC and NFC for playoff picks. Stay tuned. That's going to be something I want to talk about. And that might be the one week where I don't do a Monday show. And we'll save it for Tuesday. You can also follow us on Rumble. We finally got our episodes rolling now on Rumble. I fixed the tech problem that I had. So we are good now. Episodes are rolling on Rumble. Sorry for the long weeks that we didn't have episodes. That's my fault. Now we got content rolling. So we are now going to get going on Rumble. You can also follow me at LoungeTimePod on X. I have no problem answering tweets, questions for the show. I have no problem doing it. Just send it over, and then I'll address it on the show. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys on Monday to recap NFL Week 8 and some college football news, previewing the first playoff poll. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you on Monday.